As the Defence Department continues to investigate the extent of the water contamination issue in Oakey, more questions are being asked about how the chemicals enter the human body. Lachlan Kennedy is in Oakey for our series of special reports. And Lockie, you've spoken with a man who hasn't drunk the bore water but still has high levels of toxins in his blood.
He does, very high levels, Georgie, and that's what really worries him. No one can tell him how he's been exposed. Now, Peter Jones finds this topic very difficult to talk about, but he agreed to sit down with me and allow us to tell everyone his story, because he's getting very few answers from Defence, and that's despite the fact he lives right next door to the Army base. Peter Jones and his dog, Patch, live in the shadow of the Australian Army.
You're a good girl, aren't you? Hey?
For 25 years, this weatherboard house has been his castle, 5 acres of land that shares a fence line with the Army base. Yet despite being next door, the 63-year-old only learned of the water contamination issue when a woman came to his home by mistake, looking for someone else.
I think they'd left me out of the equation because I didn't have a ball. That's the only... But I was a neighbour.
Defence warns people not to drink or bathe in bore water. Peter does neither and assumed his body would be chemical-free. He was wrong. Blood tests revealing an alarmingly high level of PFOS.
So mine's about 13 times the average.
The average is 10.25 and you're 129.
Yeah.
A 2,200-page human health risk assessment released last week identifies 47 potential pathways for exposure.
So I started thinking, where did I get this stuff from? How did I? And I started asking questions, but I'm still asking questions. And the answers aren't really forthcoming.
Peter, they've sent you surveys, but has anyone from the base ever walked over and talked to you?
No. I had to pursue everything.
And he's put half-finished renovations on hold because of a question mark over the value of his land.
3 months ago, I could have just shut the doors and walked out of here. That's how I felt. And I'm not really in a financial position to do that, but that's how it can get you down sometimes.
Peter's among hundreds now talking to lawyers, but says the best thing would be for his neighbour to pop over the fence and say everything is going to be all right. Peter would love nothing more than to be told his land is safe and his health will be fine. But if that's not the case, Georgie, of course, he wants to ensure that he will be looked after. As it is the case with so many people that we've spoken to in Oakey this week, it's really that uncertainty about what the future may hold that is really taking the greatest emotional toll.
Indeed. Thank you, Lachlan Kennedy, live there in Oakey.